Welcome to Healing Your Family Legacy, here on the Experience of the Soul podcast channel. Innovative, evidence-based recovery that helps to identify intergenerational trauma, allowing for freedom and embracement of the healing process. Today, episode 153, Manage New Year's, Part 2. And now your host, Dr. Donna Bevan-Lee.
And this is Dr. Donna Bevan-Lee, Healing Your Family Legacy. Well, I hope that you all had a safe and fun New Year's and that you're ready to go in the new year. You listened to me talk about diet last time and how people, I'm going to lose weight this year. And I say, don't do that to yourself. Say, I'm going to change my diet this year. Because if you change your diet to a healthy diet and get exercise, you're really not going to have to worry about weight unless you've got a medical condition. And I know there is such a thing. So, unless you've got that medical problem, if you give yourself some time and not expect it to be overnight or in 1 month or in 2 months, you change your diet and you start to exercise. And like I said last time, we talked a lot about changing your diet and what that might look like. And one of the things that I also want to say about changing your diet that I've noticed with people is drink more water. People drink stuff all day long. I see people with these great big old glasses full of, whatever it is they're drinking out of a straw. And I would bet that 90% of those people are drinking a substance that is not water, okay? It's probably loaded with sugar, loaded with all kinds of things that really isn't good for you in that amount. And if you do that every day, chances are your body's going to rebel against you at some point. And you get sick. So, drink water. And, I've had people say to me, they say, "God, you only drink water." I'd say, well, I do drink a lot of water. Most of my beverages are water. And I do drink a cup of coffee in the morning, which is, I'll say, water. And once in a while, I have what I call a cranton. I don't know why I'm telling you this, but it's a good thing to have something with a little bit of tonic water in it after you've exercised a lot. And it's just a little secret that I've discovered over the years that when I'm doing some intense exercise, like for me, I work out, upper body workout 3 times a week, and then I hike or go on long walks at least 5 times a week. And after those, if I don't have something with a little bit of tonic water in it, I tend to, my muscles can cramp. So tonic water has quinine in it. And quinine in small doses, like in tonic water, can help your muscles so that they don't cramp. Now, it's not like the cure-all, but I'll tell you what, if I don't drink my tonic water, and I drink it with cranberry juice because alone I can't, I don't like him. It's a terrible taste alone. But if I put it with a little cranberry juice and drink it, it's great. And I don't have a lot of muscle cramping. And I can tell when I haven't done it because I do have muscle cramping. And so that's just a little side note. I'm not talking about, a 32-ounce thing of cranberry juice with a little bit of quinine in it. No, or a little bit of tonic water. No, that won't pass it. I'm talking about maybe 6 ounces or even 8 ounces of cranberry juice with, just maybe 1 ounce of tonic water. It makes all the difference. But back to exercise. So you've all heard what I do. And I would tell you this, that even when I was a mom of a young child and working full time, I still exercise. Because as long as I can remember, well, from the time that I was aware that I was in charge of my own health and well-being, I've exercised. And I do put it in the same category as brushing your teeth. And because I do it on a regular basis, when I don't do it, my body doesn't like me very much. And I always think, if you're not exercising at all, your body doesn't like you very much, but you don't even know that your body doesn't like you very much. Because remember, your body is your primary source of transportation. And all those muscles need to have exercise in order for them to work. And so you have to do that. Now, even if that means that you strap the baby on to your body and take a little walk, that's better than not doing anything at all. And, sometimes when I don't have, sometimes when I don't have time to work out in my, with my weights and stuff, I'll just do some push-ups. And, that keeps my body functioning. Or planks. If you don't know what a plank is in the exercise world, look it up. It's not that. Now, that is something everybody can do unless you have back problems. And, it is one of the best exercises ever. It will make you strong. It improves your cardio. Planks, they're good for you. So it doesn't have to be some big exercise program with a private instructor or something like that. Although I know a lot of people that do hire out exercise instructors, and, so they have that they're doing what they need to do to make sure that they get their exercise in. And sometimes, I have been told that if you get an exercise instructor, whether it's at a gym or, privately in some way, it's like you'll learn how to exercise in ways that will help you. You can just incorporate all that into your life. So over the years, I do some yoga. I've done CrossFit when I was really not thinking straight. No, it's not a bad thing, but it's like you have to be really aware all the time of what you're doing with your body. You can hurt yourself. And when I did do CrossFit, which was for a couple, 3 years or 4 years, maybe on a regular basis, I learned how to do some exercises I still do today. I modified some of those things because they would be insane, but I still do them today and I still get the benefit. But walking is the best exercise you can do for yourself. Even if you just had 15 minutes walking and then did some planks, you're going to be in better shape. Your body will start to respond. It will get stronger. It will get better. Now, most people can do more than 15 minutes of walking a day. Come on. So put the phone down, turn off the TV, whatever it is that you're distracting yourself with, and go for a half an hour walk. And that could be, even, I noticed when I was working full time that women and men would bring their walking shoes to work, their tennis shoes to work, and then they would, maybe eat something for 15 minutes, and then they'd go walk for half an hour. And it's always good to do. Now, there are times when, say I can't go out hiking because maybe there's a blizzard going on, and I've made a decision that at my age, the rule number one is don't fall, because that's a bad thing for old people. But if I don't want to fall, I just stay in, and I have a rower and I row. And I have little weights that I do weights with. And then I make sure I get up and walk around every hour. And that helps. But exercise is the number, exercise and diet, two of the primary resolutions that I hear people make. I'm going to change the way I eat, and I'm going to get exercise. And, most people have these expectations that they're going to do this and it will be done overnight or in a few weeks. And they might even be thinking, in their adult brain, this might take a while. It's like, and then they forget. And then they feel like I'm a failure because, I went out and, with my friends and, we went, and partied for a weekend somewhere. And, it's like, okay, you did that. So now that you're back, start over again. Remember, they putting it in the same category as brushing your teeth. It's like, so let's say you're on a backpack and you forgot your toothbrush. When you get back, do you never brush your teeth again? No. You pick up the toothbrush that day and you brush them, and it feels better. And that's the same with eating a better diet and exercise. If you don't do this as much as you want to, or as much as you'd like to, just get up every day and think, how can I do this today? How can I get this done today? I still work. I obviously have a podcast. I still see clients. And, I do some volunteer and, I do all those kind of things. And at my age, I have doctor's appointments. And so when I get up, before I go to bed at night, I think, okay, when can I either go on a walk? Is tomorrow my workout day? It's like, what's it going to be? So that I have it in my mind and I have a plan. In my world, my little day pack is ready to go. I come home, I clean out everything that needs to be. I don't have that much in it, but my little day pack gets packed the night before. And it sits there and waits for me all night so that the next day I go. And if I don't go, it's still sitting there for me to go the next day. Because, I told you last week, drink water. Drink more water. Drink water whenever you are thirsty. Drink water. And so I have my water ready in my little backpack that I take on my hikes and my long walks. I live in a place where, it only takes a couple of miles to get to downtown. Well, if I'm going to go more than a mile, I have water and I drink the water. These are all things that you can do that will make you healthy. Now, when I talk about doctor appointments, you might think, well, gee, you must not be very healthy doing all that stuff. You got doctor's appointments. Let me tell you that once you're over the age of 70, you will have doctor's appointments, because no matter how much you take care of yourself, no matter how much exercise you get, no matter how well you eat, you're going to die. Nobody gets out alive, okay? So, in that process, starting to what a friend of mine said recently, well, once you get to be 70 or so, you're starting to count down. And that means that, you might have to have procedures or, it's like those delightful colonoscopies happen on a more regular basis. You might, I would tell you that your body at some point is going to stop. And so that'll be it for you. But if you want it to go as well as it can go, you do these things. And I don't care if you're 65 or 70 or 20 or 15 and anywhere in between. If you eat a better diet, you exercise as much as possible. I say every day, but at least 5 days a week. The life you have will be more fulfilling. Because if you decide you want to get up and, go somewhere, you're going to be able to do that in a better way. Okay? It's like if you got to sit in a car for long periods of time and you haven't had any exercise, your body's not going to be very happy with you after a while, after an hour or so. It's going to be wanting to get out and get out of that because you're not moving much. Before I do want to add one thing to this besides diet and exercise. Sleep. You must get at least 8 hours of sleep for most of us. Now, I've known people who said, I only need 4 hours of sleep. Okay, well, maybe you were born that way. No. But most human beings need about 8 hours of sleep. And I've noticed that like teenagers need way more than 8 hours. Babies need way more than 8 hours because, and young children should be getting way more than 8 hours. Why? Because the only time you grow or heal is when you're sleeping. You don't grow. There was a study that was done a while back. It hasn't been repeated, but I think it hasn't been repeated because it upset people a lot, and that's what happens. They discovered that children who are abused, and I don't know about abandon or neglect, but I know children who are sexually or physically abused don't sleep. Because they're laying awake at night, wondering what's going to happen. They're afraid. And so they don't sleep very much. And those people don't ever achieve their full growth. So, it's like you might have been able to grow bigger, taller. Your body might have been in better shape. Sleep is really, really important. That's when your body heals itself and when you grow. Now, after a certain point, you're not going to grow anymore. But every night that you're asleep, your body's healing itself from the day. Now, that means that, let's say you were out doing something and breathed some things into your lungs that probably weren't the best things for you. At night, it's going to try and heal itself. But it's not going to do it while you're awake because it's busy making it go. Okay? And so diet, eat a healthy diet, get exercise, and sleep. Put those things in the same category as brushing your teeth. Just do it. Don't get up and do these things every day. You will feel better, number one. And it's like, I love this. Sometimes people say, well, I just felt better. And I succeeded for a whole week doing those things. So I celebrated. It's like, went out with my friends and got drunk and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, okay, start over. But, you could just celebrate. Here's a reality that functional adults do. They think about, how am I going to celebrate? Maybe I'll celebrate by, having a movie night with my partner, or I'll celebrate by going to bed early and getting a really good night's sleep. You might not think that's celebratory, but your body will let you know that it is. Again, let me just say that these things aren't going to happen overnight. And if you make a resolution to do it, think about it in terms of, okay, I can do this for a day. I can do this for a week. I can do this for 2 weeks. Once I've done it for a day, I can do it for every single day for a week. And if I can do it for a week, I can do it for 2 weeks. And if I can do it for 2 weeks, I'll do it for 3 weeks. But I'm not giving up. This is a resolution. It's a commitment to myself, to making myself healthy so that I can have a happier life with myself, a life that has joy in it. And let me just say, there's a difference between joy and happiness. Joy is something that you just have, that you wake up in the morning and you just feel better, you feel good. It's called joy. Happiness are like, oh, I saw this baby and it's so cute and la, la, la. That's happy. There's also joy in that. Happiness doesn't, it's one of those things that happens in the moment and then it's over. But joy is something that you just incorporate into your life. You feel joy every day. And by taking care of yourself is one of the ways that you will feel that joy. Now, I'm going to add a couple things on just because they're important, but those 3 things I just identified are vital. This next one is kind of vital, but, if you're doing these other things, chances are you're going to be doing some of this other thing too, and that is socialization. People who isolate, they might feel like they've got a little bit of joy because they don't have to deal with people. It's hard, okay? But we know that isolation contributes to depression, and treated and untreated depression can be fatal. Okay? Newsflash, most people who commit suicide have depression. Why else would they do it? Well, no. It's like part of it, okay? And because isolation, social isolation is one of the symptoms and causes of depression, then you must socialize. And that doesn't mean you've got to go out and, party all night, or, it doesn't mean you've got to have 5 really good friends. I've had people say to me over the years, I only have 2 really good friends. And I said, good for you. Because a really good friend is someone that cares for you and that you care for them, and that, you have regular interaction, takes time, attention, and energy. And if you have, say, a job, or you have kids, or you have elderly parents that you're taking care of, or, it's like most of us have pretty busy lives. It means that if you can take time, attention, and energy and give it to 1 or 2 people, you're rich. You've got a social life going on. But there's also things like, you'll hear me say this a lot more in your life if you keep listening, and that is that 12-step programs, everybody can go. Because if, at least with Al-Anon, if you're going to tell me that you have never had anyone in your life who drinks too much, then you're just not paying attention. We have an epidemic of alcoholism in this country. Al-Anon, Debting Spenders Anonymous. We are super consumers, and if you want to get help with that, you can go to Debtor Spending Anonymous, or Debtors Anonymous, they call. The alcohol, drugs, sex, pornography, you name it, we do it because we're always trying to distract ourselves. And so when you make your resolutions this year, think of what you are distracting yourself with. What are you trying to get away from? You might not even know it, but if you're distracting yourself with your phone, if you've got your face in your phone all the time, you're distracting yourself. Stop doing those things. Pay attention to what you eat, what your exercise is, how much you sleep, and who are your friends. If you do that every day, every week, every 2 weeks, and so on, by this time next year, you'll be a changed human being. And for the better. It will make you feel better. Well, Happy New Year, and best to all of you. See you next week.
Thank you for listening to Healing Your Family Legacy here on the Experience of the Soul podcast channel. This channel is made possible because of listeners just like you. If you would like to support the channel with your tax-deductible contribution on an ongoing basis or through a one-time gift, head over to experienceofthesoul.com/support. Healing Your Family Legacy is copyright 2023, Dr. Donna Bevan-Lee, all rights reserved. Our theme music is composed by Dave Croft and used with permission. The Experience of the Soul podcast channel is a production of 818 Studios.
Hey friends, Sean here, your Experience of the Soul producer. I want to take a moment to tell you about something truly exciting. The SoulWorks online community, created by your host, Cynthia Alice Anderson, and available on the Mighty Networks app. If you're looking for a place where you can explore your spiritual path, connect with others, and grow in a meaningful way, then this is for you. SoulWorks is so much more than an online community. It's a safe, inclusive space for spiritual exploration, self-discovery, and personal transformation. Inside the community, you'll find everything from uplifting spiritual studies to soul-centered growth practices, meditations, affirmations, and so much more. It's a space where you'll always be supported and never judged. The best part, membership is free. You'll have access to powerful resources, inspiring content, and a supportive group of like-minded people who are all on their own unique spiritual journeys. And if you're ready to dive deeper, there are premium options available to enhance your experience with a live Monday night talk series and extended, deeper meditations. If you're seeking a place to connect, grow, and nurture your soul, we would love to have you join us in the SoulWorks community and see where this journey can take you. Visit my.soulworkscommunity.com today.